I move the Board of Education approves the agenda.
Support. Motion by Mr. Miller, support by Doc Hoff. Roll call vote, starting with Ms. Thompson.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, motion passes. Item 3, communication. Item 4, consent agenda. Approval of minutes from February 12th, 2024 regular board meeting. Approval of payment of bills and monthly financials. Entertain a motion to approve.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Support. Motion by Mr. Miller, support by Doc Hoff. Roll call vote, starting with Mr. Nash.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, motion passes. Item 5, Board of Education reports.
Okay, this evening we have several reports, and we're pleased to start out our reports. First of all, going to be Dr. Kinnisek from Superintendent for Clinton County RESA, and he's going to present a millage information that's coming up in a short time, primarily special education. So we'll see if we're set there with Crystal.
I think we're all set. Great.
Welcome, Scott.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. So again, my name is Scott Kinnisek. I am the superintendent of Clinton County RESA, and I appreciate you allowing me to come and spend some time with you this evening, sharing with you information about an upcoming millage question that will be on the ballot in August. And so tonight I want to share as much information as what I can about the question in general, and then we have some specific data that pertains to Ovid-Elsie schools. So we always start with a why when we approach items like this. And so why do we have special education millage in Clinton County? We know that federal law requires us to provide what they call a free and appropriate public education to students with disabilities. And the funding that does that comes in 3 buckets. It comes from the federal government, about a third of it. A third of it comes from the state of Michigan, and then about another third comes from a local property tax that you pay. If you look on your property tax bill, you'll see special education and CC RESA. And that's what we're going to talk about this evening. There is one ballot question, which we'll get to in a bit, that takes on 2 issues. A portion of the ballot question deals with a renewal. So we have a millage that is expiring December 31st. So one part of the question will deal with a renewal. That's about 0.2605 mils. And then the other part of the question is a restoration. There's something that's called the Hendon provision. We'll talk about that in a little bit. And basically, when the definition is there, when property values rise higher than the rate of inflation, the amount of mills levies gets rolled back. And so the restoration portion of the question is about 0.0517 mils. And again, I'll get more specific and we'll take a look more closely at the numbers on the next slide. So this is a compilation of our neighbors. If you take a look at the bottom counties, I'm not going to read all these to you, but they are folks that are in the mid-Michigan areas, ISDs that are in mid-Michigan areas. You can see where Clinton County is in terms of the number of mills that we levy. We are the second lowest debt levying special education millage ISD in mid-Michigan. If the restoration and the renewal is approved, we will go back to 2.625, so we'll stay the second lowest special debt levy in ISD in the mid-Michigan area. And again, you can see where our colleagues are around us. Next slide, please. Thank you. So again, some specifics. The question will be on the ballot on August 6th. We certainly encourage folks to get out and vote. It will include one question, but that question will contain a renewal and competitive restoration, both for 20 years. The renewal portion of the question will not result in an increase in taxes for you. It's renewing the current rate. The restoration again would be 0.0517 for 20 years. And when you take a look at what that's going to cost folks, if your home is worth $200,000, excuse me, it has a taxable value of $100,000. It's going to cost about $5.17 a year. So the restoration part on a home that's worth $200,000 would cost about $5.17 a year. Next slide. Who's going to vote? It will be all of the property that resides within Clinton County RESA. So it's going to be properties within Bath, DeWitt, Fowler, Ovid-Elsie, certainly here, Westphalia, Again, we talked about what a Headley rollback is, and so at the very bottom, you can see the renewal portion, as I shared, 0.2605, the restoration portion, 0.0517, for a total millage request of 0.3122. And why not? So we service about 1,400 students with IEPs across Clinton County. We'll take a look at some Ovid-Elsie specific numbers here in just a little bit. But again, that includes all 6 of our local school districts. And special education funding, particularly on the expense side, has risen quite a bit in the last 5 years. This number is just for RESA. So in the last 5 years, our costs have increased about 21.8% to just about now $8 million. This isn't indicative of each one of the local districts as well, but I know if Dr. Petroia pulled those numbers, your special ed expenses have been increasing fairly significantly as well. The other piece to this is we are seeing an increase in need in services. The first bullet point there talks about a 25% increase in speech and language services that we're being requested to provide. Coming out of COVID, and there's obviously all sorts of speculation of why that would be, but the numbers show that there is more of a demand for speech and language. We are seeing and hearing, Dr. Petrolia has been in the meetings, about an increased need around behaviors and behavioral supports for our children. And then the last piece, a lot of requests to do specially designed training for the local school districts. And so there's a need that's showing itself in a variety of ways. If the millage doesn't pass, the funding that would be lost is about $873,000, which is a significant amount of money. And you know, I just shared a little bit earlier, special education is required. So if the funding is lost, those funds, in a sense, come out of the general funds of the local school districts. Next slide, please. Here are a variety of services that we provide. Again, I'm not going to read these to you. Most of you are probably familiar with them, but we provide a lot of services to a number of children, again, about 1,400 across the county, in a variety of ways. That's actually a picture of a couple of our students that are home here. Next slide. Here's the same number run out a little bit in terms of what the restoration would cost. I shared the first number. If your taxable value is $100,000, which means your home is worth $200,000, it's $5.17, and then you can see what it does as you go down the line. If your home is worth $400,000 with a taxable value of $200,000, it's about $10.34. Next slide. So here's some specific numbers broken down by district. As I shared, we serve about a little over 1,400 students. And you can see Ovid-Elsie, we service about 201 of your students in some fashion. And then on the right, these are students that are receiving what we call related services. And so a lot of times with education, with special education, we think about a student going to a resource room to receive support from a teacher. And certainly those students are counted over here to the left. But we also provide a number of other supports and services, including speech and language I talked about. We provide social work services to students across the county, occupational therapy, physical therapy. We have a teacher consultant for, and I should have spelled that out, DHH is deaf and hard of hearing. So we have a consultant that works with 7 students in the county there. We have a visually impaired consultant that works with our visually impaired students. 7 students across the county. We have somebody, actually we contract with another ISD to share services that works on orientation and mobility services for students, particularly students who are blind. So they take them into the community and they help them learn to cross the road, help them learn to board a bus, they help them learn to go into a grocery store. So we have 5 students receiving those services. And then at the bottom, we have 136 kids, again in special ed. A lot of times we'll start servicing children a couple weeks after they're born, depending upon the disability. And we have 136 kids that we serve that are 0 to 3 across the county. In terms of the funds, on the left-hand side are the districts obviously listed, and the allocation of the current millage that we send directly back to the local district. So the ISD levies the millage and collects the millage, and every year to Ovid-Elsie, we send back $76,000, a little over that. And you can use that here in Ovid-Elsie. It has to be for special education, but those are dollars that we flow back to you. The middle column shows that if this is approved, we are going to flow back an additional $65,000 to Ovid-Elsie. I'm going to stay with Ovid-Elsie. And then if you go to the far right, the yearly allocation then moving forward for Ovid-Elsie is about $141,000 that we would flow back on a yearly basis to be used here in Ovid-Elsie by your folks. And you can see at the bottom, if you go all the way down, the total, right now we currently distribute about $537,000. Again, we're going to allocate more if passed, another 463. So we will be flowing out $1 million of our special ed tax revenues right back to the local school district to provide services. And last slide, I believe. If you take that $65,000 that will be coming back to Ovid-Elsie is successful and run that out 20 years, you can see that over a 20-year period, the renewal and restoration would result in about $1.3 million that would come back to Ovid-Elsie. That's basically the $65,000 times 20 years. And any questions that you may have for me? Takers? Questions? So what I have for you here is a one-pager. It has all of the information that I just shared with you on this, just repackaged a little bit, and then at the very bottom talks about your 201 students and the $65,000. It's very specific on the bottom part to Ovid-Elsie. That's those along. I appreciate your time. I know I'm followed by Jen Branch from CC Reese as well, but I have to be in West Westphalia by 7:30 to present to their board as well. I don't know if you know this, but all of the boards in Clinton County meet either the second Tuesday the second Monday or the third Monday. And so I've been driving around the county on two wheels for the last couple of weeks. So I apologize I can't stay, Jen. Sorry, but I got to forget this Friday. So thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Scott. We're going to show a little clip at the end of the reports that I saw on special education, so we'll see that in a little bit. I hope the audience can see that also. At this time, we're going to go to the report, as Dr. Kinishek said. This is done annually, and very pleased to have Jim Branch with us, the director. I almost gave you another title, and I used to say special education, but title of career education. So thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me, everyone. Dr. Finchman and I have been kind of traveling with the team here as we've been going around and chatting with the different workforces.
So as Wayne said, my name is Jen Branch. I'm the Career Education Director at Clinton County RESA. I appreciate you all having me here this evening. I know that you were already provided with some of the typical handouts that I would bring to board meetings that would show you some data in terms of enrollments, college credits earned, savings for students, and so on and so forth. So you feel free to look at those, as I'm kind of going through this PowerPoint, and of course would answer any questions related to either the handouts or the presentation here this evening. So the first thing I wanted to do is, they're not really very new now because we've been through a good portion of the school year, 2/3 of the school year or so, but we did have a few new instructors come on board with us this year. Shelley Geltema is a direct employee of Lansing Community College and teaches our computer networking and technology program. And she's done a great job. She's almost doubled for next year. She's got almost double the number of students signed up as what we had in the program this year. That program offers direct credit through LCC and also has an early college option. Brian Kelly is our criminal justice instructor. That program offers direct credit through Mid-Michigan College, and his enrollments also are very strong next year. We have a year 1 and year 2, and our year 2 CJ students spend, in the second semester, spend about 3 days a week in work-based learning placements with various law enforcement. They work with parole officers, they work with the 911 system, so they kind of make their way around to the different parts of the criminal justice system within the county. And then finally, Brandon Whipple is our emergency services fire science instructor. He also happens to be the fire chief at Ingham Township Fire Department, and that is something that does make CTE a little unique in that the instructors must have some industry connections and credentials and experience, in addition to obviously honing their teaching skills. Every year we get from the Michigan Department of Ed, Office of Career and Tech Ed, what we call core performance indicator measurements. And Clinton County does really well with these each year, but we just wanted to highlight specifically our CPI performance this year. We get this data in January, and then I kind of do a little data mining and look at where are we strong, where do we need to improve. And so you can see what we're measured on from from a federal level in terms of our performance, graduation rate, academic proficiency in the 3 core areas that are measured on the state assessment, how students are placed after they graduate, non-traditional program concentration, so that would be, it's based on gender, so females in welding and auto and construction, and males in our education early childhood program. And then the recognized industry credentials, for example, CNA or ASE student certification in our auto program, some of those. So as a whole, the county, and this is not just the countywide, or not just our Career Connections countywide programs, but also those that are housed in all of our buildings. So your woodworking, your ag science, your business that's here at OE, those are also included, the local programs are also included in these measurements. And so we're really proud in our county about how we're doing here. So you can see the first column just lists the CPI. The second column is what's the state determined level of performance. So that's essentially kind of the benchmark or the target that the state sets through the Department of Ed. They don't have one for the 2S3, that's science, because this is new this year, so they were going to kind of collect the data and see how they did and then set a benchmark for next year. The next column, the statewide, that's the statewide average in each of those core performance indicators, and then Clinton County's performance overall as a county. So you can see that we are performing very well in all of those core performance indicators and meet or exceed the state determined level of performance. So as a result, in terms of graduation rate, Clinton County had the highest graduation rate for its CTE students of all 53 career ed planning districts in the state. 2S1 is the English language arts performance, 2S2 is the math performance, 2S3 is science, 3S1 is placement, 4S1 is non-trad, and 5S1 is the credentialing. So out of all 7 indicators, 5 of them, we were in the top 5 in the state. So, and I say everywhere I go, especially those academic performance, core performance indicators, many times students come to us and the soonest we're gonna get them is as a junior, which means they've already had all of that education in their local districts prior to coming to us, and they take that standardized test in April. So at most, we have from September to April to influence that. Most of that, all that credit goes to what your core teachers are doing in your local districts, because that's why those levels are high on those state tests. There are several things that we do every year out of the Career Ed Department above and beyond CTE and above and beyond CTE support. So in the fall, we always host at Clinton County Reset in the Administration Building an annual college night. And we have over 40 institutions, almost all of the public institutions in the state, private colleges, military, trade schools. And so students can come. We invite students in grades 8 through 12 from Clinton County and surrounding areas, and that's always very well attended. All of our students that are in a manufacturing pathway, not just in our countywide programs, but in our local programs, are invited to participate in Manufacturing Day. That's organized by Jennifer Fenney, our early college and career development coordinator. And so students get to visit 2 of the locations that the Capital Area Manufacturing Council provides to us. And then we have in the fall our annual Career Expo, and that's housed at DeWitt High School. So every 8th and 10th grader in the county is able to see both the secondary, well I should say all 3, the secondary, the post-secondary, and the business and industry connections for the careers. We had over 130 action booths at DeWitt High School this past year. That continues to grow, and so students really have a good time trying out different things and seeing what they might like to do in terms of high school coursework and beyond. I haven't changed the slide, but we just had our Pave Your Own Path event last Thursday. That's for our high school juniors and seniors that are already in one of our CTE RESA programs, and that was an outstanding event. We had over 80 volunteers there. And then our students are involved in a lot of work-based learning right in their CTE program or just through our work-based learning coordinator, Ms. Leslie Loafman. So you can see all of the businesses just in these 4 programs alone that support what we do in CTE. And then as I mentioned, Leslie Loafman supervises students who maybe aren't in a CTE class, but maybe have taken one or know what they want to do for a career and they have a job working in that area. And so then we're able to place them in work-based learning. So these are some of the businesses around the county for that. Every student in Clinton County, every senior, does a senior interview day, and some districts use our Pave Your Own Path event to substitute for that because it is very comprehensive, and we assist with getting volunteers and also coordinating with the local districts and providing materials. And then we also have the Capital Region Technical Early College. We have 3 programs this year that are eligible for that, and so you can see that we have an influx of new students in those 3 programs. Then I have some slides that will just talk a little bit about SurTech. This is a regional effort with Clinton, Eaton, and Ingham counties, so students that are in CTE in those 3 counties can participate in a program in our county or in other counties that we don't have what they're looking for in another county. Students essentially take their CTE program during their 11th grade year. In their 12th grade year, they continue in direct college credit in that same pathway and area. And then they're about 50-50, half in college classes and half at their home school. And then in year 13, they're entirely in college classes, and they essentially just delay receiving their high school diploma for an additional year, but they can still walk at graduation, have their open house, all those things. And all this comes at no cost to the student as long as they pass their classes the first time. So it is at least about a $20,000 value when you start adding up all of the credits and the certifications and the things that the students get by going through this program. And then some data that's been put together by Jennifer Fenning. So you can see in 23-24 that we have 43 new students, and that shows you which programs that they're in, and you can see the growth in the 3 program areas over the years that we've had options for SurTech. And these are number of students per district. So Ovid-Elsie, we have 7 students this year. This shows you what year they are in. So we have like you can see with clearly by the bar graph there, we have a large 11th grade class this year. And we know then that those students then will carry through those cohorts and earn those college credits and those associate degrees and those industry credentials. And probably one of our favorite slides, this fall, as of this fall, students that had gone through the SurTech programming had already earned 1,633.5 college credits, and in the fall they had 387.5 in process. So when you start thinking about the cost per credit hour, that's a pretty significant savings. So I always like to bring students in, so I'm going to bring Genevieve up here. So this is Genevieve Hills, and she is, oh, the link before we click on her work sample. Genevieve, I'm going to just ask you a couple of questions. I'm going to let you talk about what you've got here with your links. So Genevieve is a year 2 student in our video audio class, and she also was hired by the City of St. John's to do some marketing and media and social media for them. And so the city manager in St. John's was pretty happy to have her when they came to us and said, we need a student with this skill set. And I reached out to Mr. Puffbath and her name, and they were right away, and I've heard nothing but good things. So she just doesn't have enough hours in the day, and we'd love to steal her to do a lot of other things, but she also wants to work on her schoolwork and do some sports. So tell us a little bit about what has been the highlight for you in terms of being in video audio in your CTE program.
Gosh, the highlight for me is just being able to have the hands-on work. It's crazy, like, when I was little, I always wanted to make videos, and, I never thought that could really be a reality until I found out about the class, and, it's not a big thing that I think a lot of people get the opportunity to do is get your hands on, like, real equipment that professionals would use in the field, and it's crazy the amount of work you can get done and all the projects you can do and achieve, and it's just a lot like what I think my work will look like in a career. So just being able to do that and getting ahead from such a young age, I think is awesome, especially with the internship opportunity I've been able to do. I think it's crazy that I get to work with like the local government and, kind of not only just the video stuff, but, see what they do, and that's been awesome just to get a head start, I'd say.
So tell me how you could give them a little leg up by taking this program that you're doing now.
Yeah, so again, just the ability to use all the equipment and to be able to do the hands-on stuff that you can't just do, like, you know, reading a textbook, and being able to use like the software that, you know, you would use in the real professional workforce and what I'm doing, and having the opportunities to go to like the leadership events, like Pave Your Own Path is awesome. You know, you get to learn from a lot of cool people, and like last year, my junior year, we got to work with PBS and WKR on a documentary project, and that's something that I never imagined we'd be able to do, and that was aired on TV, and you know, with like deadlines and really working with people, it means like you're working with clients, and that's something that I never imagined I'd be able to do in high school. So that's just awesome to be able to do that in high school.
We have one for first game, so stay here and play it.
My name is 1980. My name is Emma Bates. I'm a 17-year-old senior at Ovid-Elsie High School, and this will be my 4th year playing on the women's varsity basketball team. I'm 6 feet tall. I play power forward. I like to go down to the paint and post up, but I also like to step out and shoot threes. There's not really one word to describe what basketball means to me. It's my whole life. I've been playing ever since I can remember. My love and passion for the game throughout the years has shaped me to the player that I am today, and it has led me to the success I now have.
Last year, my team actually made it all the way to the quarterfinals, which was pretty cool because that had been done over 30 years. The last time was 1984. We also ended up tying the school record for most of the seasons.
I played with most of my teammates since elementary school, and it's just inspiring to see how far we've come. I'm really glad that I contributed to my team's success last year. I actually ended up breaking the season group record at the last game of the season. It was really encouraging to see how much hard work paid off. This year, my team and I hope to break some more records to make it to states.
I was ecstatic when colleges started reaching out to me. It's always been my dream to play at the next level.
One school that really caught my attention was Northern Michigan University. When I went and I visited, I just felt really good about it. I mean, the coaches and the players were super outgoing and welcoming, and by the time I left, I already felt like I was part of the family. And then the cheerleading classes when they offered me a full ride, it just didn't seem real. When I committed, it just felt like everything in my life aligned perfectly. I'm just super excited to start a new chapter at a higher level and further my basketball career. After college, I would like to go overseas and play for a couple of years in Europe, then come back and become either a trainer or a coach at the collegiate level. I never actually thought that all my dreams would become reality one day. One of the main reasons it is possible is because my coaches, teammates, family, and friends. They've been with me through thick and thin, and I don't know where I'd be without them. Going forward, I'm just super excited to see what my future holds. If I had to say passionate about something, don't be afraid to push yourself to get to the next level and where you want to go. Never give it up over something small, like a bad day or a bad day. Just remember, you can do anything to achieve what you want to do.
We're gonna do my compliment about it.
story. That was really awesome to be able to work on that. But that's just one of the many, many things that we do. So there's all different sorts of projects that we do. We do short films and commercials and, you know, stuff like that, a little bit more serious, and you totally get creative freedom. I mean, it's pretty awesome to be able to do that when that's what you love. So.
Any questions for Genevieve or for me about what we're doing in CTE? I appreciate you being here, Genevieve. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next report is going to be given by Chris Winter, our athletic director. And Chris, I think you have some guests also with you.
Genevieve, thank you. That was an awesome segue to athletics. Thank you for that. So earlier in the year, as part of the athletics update, one thing that we really talked about doing and looking to pursue is to improve some of the emergency medical response assets that we have here in the district. In October, we applied for an additional mobile AED unit. Part of what we're doing here in athletics is we're sending a cross-country team off-site and going to practice. We have multiple venues going on at the exact same time, whether it be a grass soccer field, a baseball field, a soccer area, track meet, a soccer game. It's very much a divide and conquer, and we know that from an emergency response standpoint, that time is such a huge asset, is such a huge component to responding the appropriate way and to save someone's life. So in October, we applied to the Thomas Smith Memorial Foundation, and effective today, we've been granted an additional mobile AED. We want to welcome Mary and her husband, Jonathan Smith, to share their story. And we're really excited to have you, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Chris, and congratulations, Ovid-Elsie, and to Chris Winter for writing an excellent grant request. And this is exactly what we're looking for when we grant automatic external defibrillators or AEDs to schools. This is the 53rd unit we have donated in the past few years. And we donate all our units in memory of our son, Thomas Noah Smith, who was a high school senior at the age of 17 when he collapsed from sudden cardiac arrest. We did not have an AED, and unfortunately our son did not survive. We live with this every single day and know that it is the worst event and tragedy that could ever happen to a family. And we are making it our life's mission not to let this happen to another family. So we are here today. This is what we do. We hope that you never need to use this. But if you do, and Chris Winter is out there, we know that there'll be a good outcome. So.
I'll just say this, it's not all that we do. We also do free teen heart screenings. We look for the problem before it becomes an issue. That's been a successful program. We've done over $6 million in free heart screenings in the past 10 years, 11 years. And we found over 140 kids just in our little neck of the woods that we screened that had major heart issues. We had over 30 kids that had open heart surgery from what we found. So just like our son, we never knew we had a problem. He collapsed and died right in front of our eyes. This kid could walk through walls, 6'2", 232 pounds, and the third strongest powerlifter in the state at his age. So every breath is a gift. Every day is a gift. Remember that, folks. And if you get a heart screening in front of you or near you, take advantage of it. And when you walk into a room, we used to always look for where's an exit. Now I walk into a room, I say, where's the AED? Because I want to know where it's at. So keep that in your mindset and know that these are out there protecting you, and good people that get trained, God bless them. Remember, you cannot get in trouble for using these either. We have you can try, do the very best you can. They're very simple to use, and they will not hurt you. They will only give a shot if needed. So, and with the Good Samaritan law here in Michigan, we are covered. So don't ever think you have to run away or grab your camera when somebody collapses. Go to the fire and try to put it out. So that's what I recommend, okay? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Any questions? Thank you very much.
We want to thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, for the donation, and appreciate Chris writing up the application, and again, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Our next report comes from Mr. Ormsby from the middle school updates and highlights. So, Tim?
So the first section for the slide is recognitions that we have tried to recognize students every month. The first way is through Students of the Month. We do 2 awards every month for students. The Student of the Month is for either academic achievement or effort within the classroom, and those are selected by their grade level teachers. And we also have Marauders of the Month. Marauders of the Month are selected by the teachers again, but these are for our PBIS of Be Your Best, Be Responsible, Be Respectful, and the grade level teachers choose those. And so far this year, this is as of quarter, at the end of quarter 2, you can see the numbers there. We have 53 students on track to get all A honor roll, and then 81 students for A-B honor roll. So we have approximately 41 students as of the end of quarter 2 up for some type of honor roll. That number will obviously change as we're coming up to the end of quarter 3, but this is what we have so far. And then we also recognize teachers on a regular basis along with the students. They do a teacher marauder month or a staff marauder of the month, and that is selected by a combination of both staff members and students. They get to fill out a Google form and recommend a staff member of their choice for a variety of reasons, and then the staff member gets a report of all those comments back as kind of a motivation tidbits of why they were selected. We had a few staff grants. Most of you are aware that Mr. Grant's staff was awarded a grant in working through the Country Music Hall of Fame. That grant is continuing. It is continuing to work with Country Music Hall of Fame, writing lyrics, and then the composers put those lyrics to music. I just sat in a video Zoom of him today, and they performed all of the students' music so far, and it was a great experience to see the students see their lyrics come to music. It was great. And then we also had Mr. Wirtz, he committed a McCall grant, and that was for 3D Tinkercad class. The money went towards purchasing 3D printers, and his 6th grade Tinkercad class, they get to design different items on the computer, and then they each get those printed out, and they get to keep those. Last year, when I walked into the middle school, except for performing arts, band, all the classes were on a rotation basis. Every 8th grader took every single class on a 9-week course. And so we made a slight change to that, and every student has a rotation for 1 hour of the day, and then every student has a choice of one class to take for a semester long. So they choose, they have a little bit of selection in what they want to take. So we either took an elective and expanded it, or created all new electives according to teacher interest and student interest. So we added a few classes, including videography, which we saw hopefully those students find some interest and do that in the future through CTE. We added budgeting, sports, in culture. It's looking how sports have influenced culture, how culture has influenced sports, and it's a little deeper dive into reasons behind some things happening. In agri-science too, listening to the community, providing students another opportunity for track into FFA in high school. Tinkercad, we talked about that, and then we have creative arts. In 6th grade, students can dabble in multiple different arts, visual arts, writing creative stories, a little bit of music, so they get a wide variety of arts. And then we maintain the typical band, performing arts, just this last weekend, Friday and Saturday, I hope you had a chance to come see Legally Blonde, middle school production. It was a packed house, the kids performed great. So we had that performance. And then, these are some pictures. It's always better to see pictures than listen to me talk. We have some performing arts, or sorry, not performing arts, creative arts here on the left. And then in the middle, we have some photography, where a student had to take multiple pictures and then splice it together. So we don't have 3 sets of triplets in 6th grade. Those students splice those pictures together. And then the bottom picture here is a physics applications. They designed putt-putts and then courses and had to figure out how to maneuver those using some geometry skills. We have some STEM up here on the left, creating some air-powered rockets, and then on the bottom, Lego robots. They had to program them and make them follow the track around. They don't have remote control, they have to program the robot. And then on the bottom here, we had students donate some deer hearts from their fall hunts, and they were able to, 6th grade students were able to dissect some deer hearts. We have some drama, acting out some plays in 7th grade English arts. And then up here on the right, that was a scavenger hunt that the students did, 6th grade students did here to get to know the IC and the layout a little bit better. We also have a band. We have some students attended Solo Ensemble Festival, which in middle school happens in December. And we have a few young ladies who are going to come up and play for you. Really difficult to sit back there for 45 minutes and not have to play your instrument and get up and play gold. So well done, ladies. Thank you for coming today. Next one. And then we also have some student council members here. They're trying to hide at the moment, I think. Coming up and talking about what they do as student council that's so important to our school.
We are a couple of your middle school Ovid-Elsie student council members. My name is Dylan. My name is Kyra. And I'm Brooklyn. Our group of students consists of 6th, 7th, and 8th graders who are respectful, responsible, and lead by example to be their best for the school.
We have put on many assemblies, such as a welcome back assembly, a MSU versus Michigan assembly, and a winter wonderland assembly.
We've also done spirit weeks, and some of the different spirit weeks that we've done is we did homecoming week, we helped out with FFA week, and we also did kindness appreciation week, and the 12 days. We put on 2 dances here at the middle school, a Halloween and Valentine's Day dance, which we allow students to dance, do crafts, and do an open gym to play different games. We also hosted 4 different holiday workshops where you make different crafts and decorations to put around your home.
We did many student rewards. Some of the rewards we did were we participated in FFA week, and the winning first hour that found the most FFA emblems and participated in Spirit Week got donuts. We also did a costume contest and pumpkin carving contest, and the winner of that got Halloween candy.
We've done a couple different fundraisers. We donated to the Sparrow Cancer. We've also donated to the VFW Hall and the Lions Club.
We volunteered with the OE elementary schools, and some of the things that we have done to help them. We did STEM lessons, so we helped them build many things. We also did a paw store, so they would pick out the prize they wanted and tell them how many tickets that cost. They would give that to us and we would give them that prize. We also helped with March's reading one, so we would get in small groups and read to them.
And then at OEMS, some of the different things that we do to help out is we help with parent-teacher conferences, bookstores, and we also help with keeping our boards up to date with new information. A couple of our upcoming events are we're going to be doing more different fundraisers here for the students, as in different things like food to sell at lunch. We're also going to have a spring spirit week to dress up, along with teacher appreciation week to celebrate our teachers. We're going to host a 5th grade visit for the 5th graders to come check out the middle school for what they're expecting next year, along with an end-of-school celebration.
Thank you for listening to our Ovid-Elsie Middle School Student Council presentation.
Yep, so much of what the student council does goes behind and helps build the culture of the school and student enjoyment. The learning obviously is the responsibility of the staff and the students, but the student council, along with the advisors up there, put so much time in before school, after school, to help make coming to school a little bit more fun on certain days and provide enjoyment and reasons for coming. So all the work to the students and the advisors greatly appreciate it. As well, now a little bit more about the school. After years of COVID and whatever, the middle school has returned to data review days. We do 3 of those scattered throughout the year at CC RISA, and we look at various data to help guide instruction and school initiatives. That's some of the data that we look at that CC RISA helps provide us, that we can make informed decisions about our instruction. Right now, we are working for the 2023-2024 on central reading, central idea, picking out the main idea. Students easily lost in details and sometimes forget what the main idea of the topic was, or a lesson, or an article. And so being able to pull out those main ideas and find out what the supporting ideas are is a vital skill for their future. And then the other thing is we're looking at reading strategies. Our language arts, primarily Mrs. Wilbanks over there, reviews some reading strategies to be used within the classroom to help all instruction and help students retain information and comprehend what they're reading. We also engage in curriculum review, led by Carly, making sure that we're prioritizing standards and that there's no gaps throughout instruction of our 4 primary core areas. Just recently, in this March, years ago, before I was here, and when Dr. Cunningham was superintendent, middle school and EE Night submitted a request for a grant through Western Michigan University, and just this March we were approved. This grant is called the High Impact Leadership, and it pairs us with a retired administrator and or curriculum advisor. And we actually have Carrie Krantz, who is one of both. And with this individual, she attends those curriculum reviews, data reviews with us, And when we go to the data reviews, we come up with, the school improvement team comes up with initiatives, but then she comes back and she meets with other facilitators from other districts and provides us with research-based ideas to help inform instruction. So it's not just us coming up with, we come up with the topics that we want to work on, and then she helps facilitate and find research-based strategies to use in those areas. We have communication that goes out regularly. I send out a monthly newsletter. Teachers send out weekly updates of what's happening in their classrooms that week so parents can stay informed. We have attendance letters that go out as a kind reminder to parents of how they're accumulating absences. It's really easy for a student to be absent a couple times and then they're gone for vacation and they realize, oh my gosh, my kid's been gone for 20 days and I didn't know it. So those are just friendly reminders that attendance is the #1 factor to keeping students successful in school. Obviously, we have some sports and activities active at the school. And then the next one highlights some successes in the activities world. We had a student place for the first time at the state chess match. We had several students place at Science Olympiad. And then we also had a student earn a silver award for an FFA competition. Any questions? Yes?
No questions, but a huge shout out to all your students that came. It was so refreshing to have kids come back to show us what you're doing at school. And I'm sure that was nerve-wracking to sit there the whole time. And I love seeing all the pictures and all the details.
Thank you. Thank you, ladies, for coming today. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim, and thank all the parents that came with their students and the skills that everyone is learning, and the teachers back there too for training this evening. All right, now we have a special education updates and highlights, and Michelle Parsons is going to be presenting that at this time.
So I have a flyer that just kind of gives an overview of the things that I'm going to talk about, so I'll hand that to you, take one. It's from our fall data poll. So when we partner with CCRISA, like Scott, when he presented about special ed, we partner with them, and so we also do data reviews for special ed. And as most of you know, I'm Michelle Parsons, and I am the principal at Leonard Elementary, but I also oversee special ed for the district. So when I was asked to give a report about special ed, because we don't often do that, I was super excited to kind of give some numbers and talk about some of the awesome things that the special ed department is doing for Ovid-Elsie. So some of the nitty gritty, we have almost 16% of our students that have IEPs. That's a pretty high number. It's important to know that while our student enrollment is decreasing a little bit, our special education enrollment and qualification is increasing. And along with that, not only do the actual IEP numbers increase, but the amount of service that the teachers are providing students and the service hours are increasing. We get what's called an FTE for students, and our FTEs have went from 36 FTE hours in 22 up to 42. And I know that probably doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but pretty much 30 hours is a full, what we do for percentage of a day that we work with special ed students. So that's part of the important stuff to know, that we are seeing an increase, and we're seeing an increase in need for teachers and time, the amount of time that we need to service students. I talked about partnering with CCRISA, so they've been a good support for us. They come into our department meetings. We are going through a monitoring session that all schools have to go through, where they go through our IEPs and make sure that we're compliant and we're writing adequate goals, and that we're progress monitoring and making sure that our students are making progress. So they have been in and doing some training with us and bringing examples of IEPs and things for us, so that's been super helpful this year. They also put on training for parapros, a couple different options that we've sent most of our parapros to, where they can learn just some of the essentials, because they really have a hard job too. You know, they're kind of thrown into it without the education, and they're here to support students, but the training is super helpful. We also send all of our staff to CPI training, which is the crisis prevention training, in the event that some of our students have crises or some behavioral challenges. We have staff that's trained to handle that. We have a lot of teachers that are exploring new curriculum. We know that that's a challenge with students with special education, and so we've had a lot of teachers pilot some different programs that we've found. CC Risa has been helping us kind of look for some different things that we can do with our kiddos that might reach them, help them make a little bit more progress. So that's pretty exciting. And if you want to hear more, if you have any questions, I'd love to sit down and talk about it. It is a passion of mine. I could talk all night, but I know we've been here for quite a while. So if you have any questions, please let me know or schedule time to talk about it. But I'd like to share some exciting stuff too. So some of the celebrations, and not everybody could be here tonight, but Mrs. Faziani at the lower elementary, she had a student that came in that was nonverbal, and after a year and a half is now reading. So that was a huge celebration. She's an amazing teacher and an amazing kiddo, and it's just really neat to see that the growth in students. Mrs. Roberts at EE Night, she is one of the ones that's piloting a new computer program for kiddos, trying to get them more engaged, trying to see if we can figure out what ways that they learn best. She also shared with me one of her students won an art contest. They're working on kindness in their classroom, and this one was for what makes a good friend. And she even got a certificate. They couldn't be here either, but it's pretty neat that it was through MENIT, the insurance company, and that she won that. So that is super cool. At the high school, we have peer-to-peer, where our general education students get to partner with our special education students, and they work with them on social skills or academics, or just kind of be a buddy or a friend in some of the classrooms or homerooms to give them some extra support. Because we all know once you get to high school, it's not cool anymore to have a teacher tell you what to do, but they really enjoy having a peer. They learn better from having friends and peers tell them how to behave, or some of the, the tutoring stuff with the academics. Mrs. Bates also has a student cafe. She's one of our special education teachers, and she has a cafe attached to her room, so the kids get to come in and kind of learn some of those life skills and work at that cafe, and that's pretty neat to see, too. There's a lot of other things that we do, but I was just trying to highlight some of the really important ones. And then last but not least, Mrs. Summers is going to present Stephen Phillips. And Stephen, when he started kindergarten, he was this big. Stephen and I actually worked together at Leonard Elementary, so I was just teaching him. So congratulations, bud.
So when Mrs. Parsons asked for a celebration, I immediately thought of Stephen. School has not always been his favorite thing to do, but he's been in my classroom with me for the last 2 years, and he has done an amazing job improving his grades while maintaining a job after school every day. And this job has now turned into full-time employment after he graduates in May, where he'll be making some good money. And right now the company is so impressed with him. He's working in the yard doing what he can do after school. And then once he graduates, he'll be clocking in at 7 a.m. and working on cleaning roads and making some money. But in addition to that, he has been an amazing mentor. He not only has helped our foreign exchange students, especially at the start of the year when school was new to them, English speaking, and all your classes were doing things. He actually helped them find their classes and make sure they were comfortable getting started in school here at Ovid-Elsie. And then he donated some of his 7-hour time to come into my classroom when he had all his work done. And he sat at a table and had some of my incoming freshmen that were making the transition from middle school to high school and understanding, yes, you have to do your homework, and there's starting to count for your credits for graduation. Stephen sat at the table, and it was affectionately known as table time with Stephen. And he helped them with their algebra or anything that they had questions in for homework. And he was able to give kind of that mentor pep talk of, this matters, you need to take it from me. I'm a senior now, and I wish I paid attention freshman year and done everything like I should have. And he really made a difference, not only with our exchange students, but with our freshman class as well. And I'm just really proud of him and hate to see him graduate, but I definitely have to let him graduate tonight. Thank you.
together, and it's everything we own, as far as like buses and the vans, the mowers and equipment, that type of stuff.
Yeah, that's just a basic overview of like when we bought them, price, when we bought them, if I could get them, stuff like that, just to look at, I guess. I'm just gonna give a report on like some general information of the transportation department, new information or new stuff that's going on out at the transportation department. We have 28 buses, 26 regular route buses, and then 2 special needs. 18 of them are actually full-time every day, and then 1 special needs routes every day. We've got 24 diesel buses. Got into some gas buses, but they kind of put the kibosh on that for right now. International did. We got 4 of them. They've been pretty good. The 22-23 school year, we traveled 197,000 miles with our school buses. 18,000 of that was the special needs route, the 1 route. Total of 215,000 miles. Went through 24,260 gallons of diesel fuel, 8,035 gallons of gas, total of 32,295 gallons total. We also have 4 minivans, 1 cargo van, 4 pickup trucks that traveled 46,000 miles last year. We also service Ashley School District's 6 buses. We've been doing it for like probably 5-6 years now. Our team out there, we have 18 regular drivers, 1 special needs driver, 5 substitute drivers, off and on substitutes, and then a bus aide for our special needs route. Our average route length is 1.75 hours. We transported, this is this year's total, 910 students, 45 were preschool, 56 were out of district. The new stuff that we're getting out of the transportation department is a fuel tank fob system that will cut down on paperwork with the drivers, miswriting of information to keep it straight out, and then just keep track of fuel better, where they're going, what's, when the driver has to put fuel in, they have to put the mileage of the vehicle in, the amount of fuel goes in, sends it to my computer, or whoever's computer, and they can look at who's filling, when it's getting filled. And then other thing, we just went up to Ithaca schools last week, and we've been in contact with Tyler Technologies. They have routing software. We're really far behind on the routing software. We're doing all by just handwriting out, trying to figure out the best way. We figure we're going to cut down on a lot of mistraveled miles. So that's the first phase of that, and then the second phase would be like a tablet, if we kind of doing that. A tablet would be for like, you have 28 kids in the morning that are supposed to ride, and if you get a call and I'll just get sick, you just take them off the route, and they'll redirect you to the fastest, most efficient way, make it easier for substitute drivers when they're sitting there trying to figure out where address is, like a turn-by-turn GPS. And we still haven't had our state police inspection for this year. Our police inspector moved to Texas for another job, so we're just throwing on the back burner, just wait until the day comes. So that's all I have. If you have any questions, or if you ever want to come out here, I'd love to have you come out here and check our workplace out. And thanks to Kevin for our drivers loved the donuts the other day. They were pretty happy. So, that's all I got.
Anything, nothing?
Thank you.
Thanks, Carla. Thank you. I know Carla was a little bit concerned about giving a presentation, and I didn't know she passed it off totally.
Well, I gotta buy him gummy worms.
Bill, you did a good job. Bill did awesome. Okay, now it comes to my report. Mine's pretty small compared to what we just heard from everyone. The first one is I just wanted to bring everyone's attention. Several months ago, we talked about a speed zone both on Hollister and Colony, and I got an email and a phone call that that's going to be placed both on Hollister and Colony during spring break. Okay, so during spring break, they're going to do flashers both from the north and the south and the east and the west. Okay, and the reduced zone will be during 15 minutes before school and 15 minutes after school. So from 7:45 to 8 a.m. and then in the afternoon from 3 to 3:15 p.m. And the reduced speed will go from 55 to 45. That's what they recommended, to reduce it by 10. Now you might say, what's the difference between 55 and you see flashers there, and there was for a while, or with a sign. Now it's an enforced speed zone. So therefore, prior to, this will go into effect on April 1. Okay, it's coming back from spring break, and we just thought it would be good to come back from a break like that instead of all of a sudden like on a Wednesday sometime. We also thought about the start of next school year. We thought, well, it's a good time to start it. So effective April 1, this is an enforceable speed zone. So coming right through here on Hollister and Colony, the speed zone before school and after school will be 45 miles an hour. We will be sending this out to all parents, telling high school drivers, anything like that. That's going to go out tomorrow. We're going to send it out by email, and then Thursday again, on the 21st. And we'll also pick up some social media and put it in the paper. So I just want to make sure everyone was aware of that. The next item is next school year, 24-25. We do not have the complete calendar completed, but at least we can say that staff, the first 2 days for staff will be Monday and Tuesday, August 19 and 20. August 19 and 20. And the first day for students then will be Wednesday, August 21. The rest of the calendar should be coming out shortly. I'm hoping within a month to 6 weeks when we get everything completed. The final item is that, as you know, we appreciate the community voting for the non-homestead millage renewal and the non-homestead millage election, which was held on February 27. We received the statement and then returned and has been certified. So that has been completed. And the final item I just saw at a meeting Friday, kind of right around noon, Friday afternoon. I saw a little video, just a short little video, and it really follows through on Dr. Kinishek's information on special education, certainly with Rochelle too. And I believe we said that we have a cafe ourselves, and this is also a cafe at Clinton County.
I'm Reformer reporter Russell Shelburne here in St. John's, where one organization is giving special education students real-life job experience to prepare them for the future. food, please. Dalton is one more than 24 here at the Second Cup Cafe. We're working to register as one of many jobs to gain experience for the future.
You're welcome.
Starting in 2003, the Second Cup Cafe became an extension of Clinton County RESA's transition program for special education students. According to their job coach, Deb Snyder, the program helps them build a variety of skill sets to prepare for the real world.
Cleaning skills, social skills, money handling, it kind of preps them in a safe environment to go out and get jobs at other facilities.
Snyder works closely with the volunteers to make sure the tasks they do help them build these skills.
Once again, self-confidence is a huge piece for our students. So them just knowing that if something goes wrong, it's always fixable.
Each student spends 1 day per week in the cafe, engaging with customers, making transactions, and running the cafe as their own store, which volunteer Jared says he likes the pace.
We have been so busy this time of the year, and it's been doing pretty well.
And even though the day may get busy, Deb and the volunteers still find ways to share a smile.
One of my favorite things that she says is, "What the heck, Shrek?"
In your neighborhood in Russell Shelburne, Fox 47 News.
We from Ovid-Elsie have students in this program, and we saw one of them on camera there. And there was also a customer there that some of you are familiar with. That was Mrs. Shomish. Maybe you recognize her standing there buying a cup of coffee. But it does teach life skills for our students. And I hope the reports this evening were very helpful to the audience and to the board members. You can see so many tasks and so many educational experiences that our paraprofessionals, our teachers, our administrators, everyone involved provide our students here at Ovid-Elsie Area Schools. So thank you very much for everyone that presented and have a part in this. That ends the reports, and Mr. Jones, now we come to new business.
Item number 6, old business, we have none at this time. So item number 7, new business, field trip request.
Yeah, we have Dana Blank to talk a little bit about the field trip that they're going on very shortly.
Yes, yes. So we would like permission, and I know this is, like, you only have a short amount of time, and I apologize for that, and we apologize for that at the high school. So this is the Washington DC trip, and the middle school actually took that Washington DC trip via bus for several years. And I don't know if they did like the field trip request every single year, because it just was something that they did every single year. After COVID, Jason came to me and said, hey, would you put together the DC trip again so we can actually catch up the students who were not able to go. And so we did that, and we started fundraising right away. And so when we submitted the paperwork, I think we just thought that this is the DC trip and it's up and running again, and it will be something that we do every other year. We took our first trip last April. We flew out of Detroit, went to DC for 3 days. It was a phenomenal trip, and we caught up 2 classes on that trip so that everyone had a chance to go. This year we're going again April 3rd for 3 days. We're flying out of Detroit, and we'll be gone for 3 days, 2 nights. Yes, be back Friday night and going again. And then we already started fundraising for 2026, and I'll unveil that in May. I'm looking at trying to do that. So it's something that we plan as a high school to continue doing, because we find it to be very educational for our students. We try to make it affordable for them to go, for as many to go, and then also, like I said, offer fundraising opportunities. And then we actually had someone in the community just ask if they could donate via scholarship to help people go, and they're trying to work that out somehow. So we need your double top secret approval to leave April 3rd, although if you say no, there's going to be a lot of disappointed people, and we already got our plane tickets. So there you go. No pressure.
How many years you got?
It's right now, adults and students, we have 53 people on this trip. And last year, it was like, what, 87? Yeah, we had 2 full buses last year, this year, so when we do the trip, we either have to take 1 big bus or 2 big buses, otherwise it gets really expensive. So this year we have 1 bus, so, but it was like in the 80s, upper 80s we had to go last year. The itinerary is the same, you know, a few tweaks here and there. They asked for my feedback last year, and we had wanted to see the monuments at night, but it was raining, so they actually took us to the Kennedy Center instead, which was actually pretty sweet. And then another tweak that we did for this upcoming year is we have time to go to Smithsonian museums. They drop us off in an area, and students can pick like where they want to go. We had many students who wanted to go and see the National Archives. We didn't know by the time we walked there that the public line is very long, and you can buy tickets ahead of time, and then it's like in slots, so you get in, you know, ahead of the public line. So I brought that up, and they're comping tickets for our whole group, so we're going to be able to go. And they rearranged our schedule a little bit, so we are going to be able to make the National Archives this year. And the other great thing, I had been to Washington D.C. before. I had not been to Gettysburg. It was phenomenal. I have goosebumps right now. Yeah, it was phenomenal, and I did not hear anything negative when we got back. Kids really, and parents really enjoyed the trip, and the flight was a whole lot quicker than a 23-hour there, 24-hour back bus ride. So there we go. Get it? Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, not a problem.
I move the Board of Education approve overnight extended student trip. Student trip, class of 2026 to Gettysburg, Washington D.C., April 3rd through 5th, 2024.
Or, motion by Mr. Miller, support by Mr. Huff. Roll call vote.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Motion passes.
I move the Board of Education approve trip for next year to D.C. Gettysburg.
All sections.
26, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so go ahead, start over, please.
I move the Board of Education approve overnight extended student trip for the students of the class of 28-29 to Gettysburg and Washington D.C. in the year 2026.
Motion by Mr. Miller, support by Mr. Nash. Well, discuss. Right, so,
Are you going every other year, Ms. Klein?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so this year, 2024 catches us up, all the students. However, so the next trip will be offered for this year's 7th and 8th graders and any other student who was unable to go. And then we just keep going every other year.
any other discussions? Roll call vote.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, motion passes. Item 8, other matters that may properly come before the board. I have none. Item 9, hearing from board members.
I just want to say thank you to all the staff members and the admin that are here. I feel like it's so nice to see everyone's faces. I've seen people here in their meetings, but to have so many students here, to hear so many great things happening in your schools, and just have everyone in the same place, on the same path, it's really nice.
And I'd like to just say one thing. I went to the play the other day, Legally Blind, and I didn't know what to expect. I've never been to one before, Ovid-Elsie, and it was awesome. I could not believe that they were junior high kids doing the performing on it, and I was just amazed. So I'm here to say that Footloose is coming up, and that's going to be done at the high school by the high school kids. This one was good. I think that's going to be good. So I'm just recommending that everyone gets a shot and show up. And Jamie, you better be there.
Get an audition.
Anything else?
Yeah.
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion by Dr. Huff, support by Mr. Nash. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Meeting adjourned.